much invested. How y'all doing on this lovely day today? As I had said before in my previous video or my shorts, either way, I decided to broaden my horizons and my real estate adventures and get some certifications under my belt. So I want to be more knowledgeable when it comes to divorces, because I know that's a touchy subject that lets in the elephant in the room. I get it. As I stated before, I had my parents that went through a divorce back when I was 30, which is 3 years ago. So I understand from the perspective of my parents, but I also understand from the perspective of my sister. She was a teenager at that time frame when it happened. So it was a lot going on for me, my brother, and my sister. So yeah. So I took time out to do more research on this as far as what specialization that a real estate agent should have when they are dealing with divorcees or people that's trying to get a divorce. So it's 6 things that you want to keep in mind, and those 6 things includes picking a divorce specialist or a real estate agent that both spouses can trust and like. The next one is understanding that if you fight about the home as much as possible, keep in mind that time is money and you are wasting your time and your money. The next one is sometimes you may have to accept a low bar offer. It just depends on the circumstances and the situation that's going on. And another one is if one spouse remains living in the house, then they can make selling the house a little bit quicker, which is, I'm going to do more research on that because I like to know is that's really true or not. But this is what I found so far. But that one I'll do more research on. And the next one is consult with a tax specialist to preserve the home sale and proceeds. And then the last one is if you keep the house, remember remove your ex name from off the deed. So the first one, like I was stating, because I got my notes, so y'all already know I forget information real quick. Okay, keep in mind that when you and your ex or soon-to-be ex is about to pick out a real estate agent, it gotta be something that both y'all agree upon with. It makes one of the parties feel isolated when they don't have a say-so, especially during the time frame that you're getting a divorce, because you are splitting assets and splitting everything down the middle. And keep in mind that divorce in this day and age compared back into our grandparents' days is completely different. In this day and age, everybody's depending on the income, especially with the economy that we're going through. 2 people income, not just one. So like I said before, keep in mind that when picking out an agent, pick out an agent that's a specialist or know what they're doing or willing to help the best way that they can. And it keeps the other part, like I said, not feeling isolated. Now, typically, when you and your spouse is picking the same agent, that agent, for one, is going to be empathetic. Is not going to be sympathetic with you. And for 2, the communication styles is going to be 2 separate communication styles. So you don't have to worry about the agent going back and repeating things to your soon-to-be ex-spouse. It's still going to be confidential, and they're going to talk to you and make decisions. Basically, in other words, your agent going to help both of y'all make decisions together, but also communicate with y'all in a particular way that's different from each other. So keep in mind that there will be tactful handling and emotions when it comes to finding this agent. Pros and cons of selling the home, as far as having one person keeping the home and buying the other one out. Family law with regard to real estate. Overall processing the timeline of divorce proceedings. Tax issues regarding the sale of the material home, consideration for how much of the alimony and child support may impact the real estate decisions, considerations for how pension, bankruptcy, or related finances is going to impact the decision, and determine the market value of the property. So when picking these agents, keep all of that in mind. That the next one is fighting about the home sales will cost you both time and money. Most families fight about the biggest purchase of their life, and that is their home, because that's something that you went into it. I know for fact, if I'm not mistaken, the state of Virginia is community based when it comes to home. And I will look it up and put it in the description box. But when fighting about the home, you got to understand that that's costing you a whole bunch of money and time. Far as for lawyers concerned, it don't matter if it's costing you money or time, because they getting paid no matter what. So they looking at it as, you could waste all the time that you want. We could have been sold this house in 2024, but if it takes you till 2030 to sell the house, that's great for them, because they are making bank off of you. But as your agent, keep in mind that I will tell you that you are wasting everybody's time and money, because you will need that money to purchase the next home that you would like to have, or condo or apartment. Okay, whether selling the home or splitting the proceeds, or having one person keep the home to buy the other one out. Keep that in mind. Buying the other home where there are enough assets to cover the equality, yet equality owed to the person. Also, keep in mind that if one person is buying the other person out, is there enough assets to cover the equity owed in the home or the person that's moving out? If the home was purchased prior to the marriage, how the equity balance should be determined where it isn't equal. If selling is trying to figure out which repairs and upgrades to make and who's going to pay for them during the divorce. Also, if selling agrees with the offer and accept which buyer concession to make. Always remember that even if either party is fussing over the home, it's not really worth that time, just because, like I said, you're wasting your money when you could be making money off that home and move on with your life. And then also just remember, a lot of times one spouse is giving me 100% effort, while the other spouse is pussyfooting around. That's the best way I can put it. Next one is accepting what the numbers are telling you when getting an offer. Sometimes most homeowners, even in today's market, feel like their home is worth a lot of money. Prime example, I could go up to your house right now, do a CMA. You will tell me that your home is worth, and this is just numbers thrown out there, by the way. You will tell me that your home is worth no more than $200,000. I'm looking at your home and doing all the major calculation to be like, no, your home is worth 160. You probably say, how is that? Keep in mind that, for one, just because your neighbors down the street has sold their home for $200,000 doesn't mean that you will. Your neighbors could have done upgrades in that home. Your neighbors could have a lot more bedrooms than you do, a lot more bathrooms. They could have swimming pools. They may not have swimming pools. They may have a parking garage. I don't know. But it could be a lot of factors of why that home down the street sold for $200,000 versus why yours is $160,000. So that's just my little spill about that. Now, keep in mind, as I stated before, even though you are trying to figure out what the numbers are, one spouse probably comes to the realization like, they don't give a fuck about this house. We just gonna sell it as is, get whatever money we can get out of it, and move on, while the other spouse trying to squeeze whatever bit of dollars that they can out the house. So, determine the finalization of this divorce as swiftly as possible. To anything to get the home sold, including accepting a low bar offer that comes along. So keep in mind that if you do decide to choose me as your agent, or any other agent for that matter, they may have some investors that will come in with a low bar offer. Anything that will help to try to get everything moving for you and your soon-to-be ex-spouse out of each other's lives and split everything 50-50. Some offers may not be quite as high as you expected. Doesn't mean that it's not a bad offer. Some offers you may have to turn down, some offers you may not turn down. Now, when a couple is determined to disagree over an offer, we go through numbers very carefully to make sure that them numbers are working and correspondingly. If they continue to fight each other, that's not going to give them financial advantage in the long run. So, as I stated before, if you could take it and run. The next one is, should a spouse remain living in the house? Now, I understand that you may not want that spouse to live in the house for whatever reason you're fighting over it. But it could be a beneficial for this reason, because whatever spouse that's living in that house It'll make the sale very quicker and easier for one, and for two, whoever spouse that is living in that house, you don't have to pay maybe vacant insurance where it keeps squatters from breaking into that house, or anybody just breaking in. So keep in mind that you may want one of y'all to stay in the house. It's not going to be the end of the world. Another reason is the person with more estates can remain and ensure the sale goes smoothly. Whoever's staying in the house can make the scheduling and insuring of the property go by quicker. And also, the agent has one point of person to contact as far as any repairs that need to be done in the house. Now, as I stated before, if the house is vacant, then it's going to be harder to sell because the house is vacant. And then once it's harder to sell and the house is vacant, then keep in mind that if there's no furniture in the home to give a buyer a particular vision of how the way they can set up their home, it's going to make the house look smaller or empty or not feel warm at all. And as I stated before, vacant home insurance. The next thing is consulting a tax specialist to preserve the home sale. I'm just your real estate agent. I don't know anything about taxes or anything like that at all, or what to do with the money at all. Because I don't know anything about taxes at all, when you consult with your tax specialist or find a tax specialist, then they can help you various ways to divide the home equity. That includes help you navigate the mortgage interest and real estate taxes, help you with the timing of the selling and pay capital gain tax, and exclude up to 500 proceedings as a married couple. Buying out the other person if you have to buy out the other person. Also help you with the fringes in cases, for example, end of the year divorce, knowing whether filing current year versus the next year when it comes to your tax paperwork. So I'll suggest hire a tax specialist, and I'll even look into finding a tax specialist so that way if anybody need help with their taxes out there when they are going through this, I will have that on deck for you. Keeping the home, just remember to remove your ex-spouse from the deed. Now, if the numbers make sense and if everything makes sense as far as you and that spouse, and one of y'all want to keep the home, that's fine. It could be some emotional stress or financial stress involved in it, but after divorce is final, the decree indicates which spouse gets the house. That's when your attorney must prepare the paperwork to remove the other spouse from the deed. If this doesn't happen at all, it could cause us problem later on, especially if you are trying to sell your home. So the divorce decree doesn't legally transfer the property at all to the spouse that have the home. So keep in mind that go and get the paperwork transferred and get it out that person's name. Now, these are some of the things that I did my own little research on as far as divorcees. I must still try to come up with my own checklist and still do more research about it to make sure that I understand and convey the information to you out there. So, as before, if you and your family is looking for a home, or if y'all trying to sell your home, please look me up. I am Kenita, the agent/investor. My telephone number is 757-447-0666, and my email address is kenita.james@exprealty.com. I cannot wait to help you and your family soon, and I hope it's not because of a divorce, but if it is, I am still here to help. Anywho, y'all have a lovely day. Bye.